All right, today we are talking, let's see, we've got Chapter 9 Area Quiz Review. We're doing area of some shapes, and yes, you're going to have a note card with all the formulas on them. I'm going to go through the odds, and then in class we're going to go over the evens, okay? So here, number one, we have a triangle. The first thing I want you to do is look on your note card and write down the formula. And for a triangle, we can't forget the divide by 2, okay? The base and the height are the two sides that have the right angle connecting them. So these two things, okay? See the right angle? So this part is 72, that's the base. 53 is the height, so that is perfect. I'm going to plug those in. The base is 72, the height is 53, and I can't forget to divide by 2, and this is going to be a large number. 72 times 53, oops, typed it wrong, and then divide by 2. I've got 1908. Okay, I'm going to give 3 points for each of these. 1 point for writing the formula, 1 point for plugging in the numbers correctly, and 1 point for the final answer. Let's do the trapezoid, number 3. Remember that the two bases are the parallel sides. So here's one of the bases, here's the other base. Those are the parallel sides, the train tracks. These two sides look like they will eventually meet. They are not parallel, but these two are running the same exact direction and will never touch. You remember what the word parallel means. For the trapezoid, I have a formula called area equals, you add the bases together times the height, divide by 2. So I'm going to plug in all these numbers. So the bases are the 18 and the 8. Those go in for base 1 and base 2. So I'm going to put 18 plus 8. The height is the 6. You got to find that right angle, right? See how the height is connected to one of the bases with that right angle. So the height is the 6. And then don't forget to divide by 2. And I'm going to do order of operations here first. So 18 plus 8. I'm going to do that first because it's in the parentheses. It's 26. And then multiply that by 6. And then divide it by 2. And you can look at my keystrokes over there on the calculator, right? I'm adding the parentheses first, the red numbers, 18 plus 8. Multiply that answer by 6, and then divide by 2, which gives you 78. Okay, parallelogram. I'm looking at my note card, and I have area equals base times height, and I have to be really careful because the base is this, which is the same exact length as this, so you can put a 21 there if it helps you. Doesn't look like a 21. There we go. And the height, you see the right angle? It's the 8. Okay, so we have to make sure we look for that right angle. It's the 8. So I'm using 21 for the base, and I'm using 8 for the height. Do you remember our chapter where we did parallelograms? This side and this side are the same exact length. Also, this side and this side are the same exact length. So because there's a 21 up here, I put it down here, and that is the base. The height is 8. Cool. So now I just need to do 21 times 8. What is that number? 21 times 8 equals 168. It's all formulas, you guys, and you just got to plug in your numbers, okay? Trapezoid, I remember this one. Area equals, I have to add the two bases together times the height and divide by 2. And yes, that will be on your note card. But what are the bases? They're the two parallel sides. Here's one. And here's the other one. I've got them labeled with B's, and I've got the H labeled there also. So the 6 and the 10 are the two bases. The height, you have to find the right angles. There's the right angles. There's 2 of them. That makes the 3 the height. And don't forget the divide by 2 at the end. And in the calculator, I'm going to do 6 plus 10. And I'm going to multiply it by 3. And then I'm going to divide it by 2. 24. Perfect. Remember how to make them a little bit more difficult. What if I give you the area and I ask you to solve for one of the sides? Okay, cool. I'm pretty sure that this is a rectangle. So I'm going to write down the formula for rectangle from my note card. It's base times height. And I know the area is 324. That goes right there. I also know the base is 27. And I need to figure out what's the height. Okay, great. So I'm plugging in all of that stuff. The 324 goes in for the area. The base is 27, and I don't know what the height is, so I'm just going to leave an H there. You could put an X there if you want, but in order to get the H by itself, we need to divide both sides by 27. What is that big number? 324 divided by 27 gives me 12. So very simple. Once again, you guys, I'm going to give you a point for writing the formula, a point for plugging in the right numbers, and a point for the final answer. Number 11, I have an isosceles trapezoid. Okay, so this is interesting. I have labeled some stuff, and I also know that even though it's isosceles, I do have a formula for a trapezoid. So I'm going to write that. Area equals, I'm going to add the bases together, multiply by the height, and divide by 2. Okay, and so since we have a rectangle on top, I know that if this is 32, then that means that this part right here is also 32. You know how an opposite sides of a rectangle are equal? And I have these isosceles triangles here. Do you remember what these little tick marks mean? That means that if this is 12, this is also 12. And since there's a tick mark here and a tick mark here, that means that this is 12. And I have a tick mark here and a tick mark here, which means that this is 12. So anything that has a single tick mark on it is 12. That's a way in geometry to mark stuff so that you know that they're equal without having to put all these numbers everywhere, okay? So one of the bases is 32. Okay, I can handle that. I'm actually going to highlight it right here. One of the bases is 32. The other base goes from here all the way to here. So I'm going to have to add up all of those three numbers, which gives me 12 plus 32 plus 12, to be able to figure out what that base is. It's 56. Okay, so my two blue sides, one of them is 32. That's one of the bases. Look, don't look like train tracks. They're parallel. They're never going to touch. So this side is 32, and this side I just added everything up and got 56. So I'm going to put those into my formula. They're my two bases. The top one is 32. The bottom one is 56. Figure out the height. Ooh, I got to find those right angles. How far apart are the two bases together? It's 12. And I can't forget in my formula to divide by 2. So in my calculator, I'm going to do 32 plus 56 times 12 divided by 2. And I got 528. Brilliant. Once again, I'm going to give you a point for the formula, a point for plugging in all of the numbers, and then I'll give you your last point for punching it into the calculator correctly and getting the right answer. All right, number 13, kind of a similar thing. I have another trapezoid. We're doing a lot of trapezoids on this video here. Because I have this shape right here, this is 8.8, this is also 8.8, and this part is labeled 5.3, and this part is labeled 8.4. So I'm going to start. Just to get 1 point, even if you're not sure what numbers to use, go ahead and write the formula. You add the two bases together. This will be on your note card. And divide by 2. And let's talk about the two bases. One of them is 8.8. The other one is, I'm going to have to add all those pieces together again. Okay, these are my two bases. And that's what I'm going to figure out first. So I need to add 8.4 plus 8.8 plus 5.3. Let me do that in the calculator real quick. 8.4, 8.8, 5.3, 22.5. That's one of my bases. The other base is 8.8. So I'm going to plug those in. I've got 22.5 and 8.8. Those are my two blue sides that I have highlighted. Let's find the height. So remember, you always measure your height at a right angle. So there's the right angle, and the height is 8.6. And don't forget, divide by 2 is in the formula. So I'm going to add those together. 22.5 plus 8.8. I'm going to multiply that by 8.6, and I'm going to divide by 2. And I got 134.59. Awesome. And I think that's my last one. I'm going to do the evens in class, you guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you got those area formulas all on your note card. And then you're going to be golden for the quiz, okay? Very good.